In 2017, moviegoers embraced horror films like It and Get Out. Horror really sold at the box office. But what made 2017 such a banner year for horror? And with all the Oscars buzz surrounding Get Out, could it become the first horror film since 1991 to win for Best Picture? Kizzy Cox reports.
In 2017, audiences got spooked by evil clowns, possessed dolls, and realized horror also lurked in the everyday. In fact, moviegoers flocked to so many horror films, they propelled the genre to its highest grossing year in history. And the movie It beat out The Exorcist to become the highest grossing horror film ever, with a massive $700 million haul. But it wasn't just a year for big horror films. There were some notable smaller films, too.
Smaller horror movies were really interesting. There's a wide array, diversity of stories and of talent on screen. There was a French movie called Raw that came out in the spring, directed by a French woman, and it is a shocking, provocative, fascinating, interesting character study done in the traditional kind of horror movie paradigm. There was another one that came out, a British film called The Girl with All the Gifts, about a young girl who is a second generation after a zombie apocalypse has happened. And it's a great movie. It just unfortunately didn't quite make as much of a splash. It was a bit of a small splash it made.
Horror films like It thrived on making fun, harmless objects, like this red balloon, really creepy. But outside of the gimmicks, there were plenty of films in 2017 that preyed on people's real fears. America's racial anxieties came to a head in the horror thriller Get Out. And judging from the box office, audiences loved it. It made more than $250 million worldwide.
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming out this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
Get Out tells the story of a black man dating a white woman who's visiting her parents for the first time. While the parents seem progressive at first, he soon realizes something is terribly wrong.
We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
I think we all feel very punch drunk right now, especially in America, with our political leadership. We're not really too sure what's going on. Up is down, left is right. And I think Get Out speaks to that, because you have people saying one thing and then doing something else, and everybody's got an agenda and nobody's being straight with you. And it's hard to find terra firma with that kind of thing. The ground keeps shifting, and it is disorienting, and it is terrifying.
Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Get Out is also different in that it shows that racism can be found in the most unexpected places. That's where its power lies, says Cara Buckley, culture reporter for the New York Times.
It poked fun and showed the hypocrisies of, you know, white liberalism. I think that that's a good thing. I think it needed to happen. I mean, I think people were hungry for this without even knowing they were. And I certainly felt like that, you know, when I saw it. I just thought, like, we'd never seen anything like it before, and there was something so satisfying about it.
That satisfaction may not lead to an Oscars Best Picture win for Get Out, since no horror film has achieved that since Silence of the Lambs. But it could bring nominations.
It bodes very well that the Screen Actors Guild named it one of the best performances of the year. So it's looking very, very good, certainly for screenplay, certainly for Best Picture, to be determined with director. It's a tight race for director this year.
Win or lose, actor Daniel Kaluuya, who played the lead role in Get Out, hopes the film will change the types of horror films that Hollywood makes.
Hopefully that there's more films that come like this that talk about real issues now, you know, like, and people's real fears that are not just ghouls and monsters, but are actually social diseases that people navigate day in, day out.
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.